In the summer of 1943, with the war turning against Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler pinned his hopes on a new generation of wonder weapons. You've heard of the Phi-1 flying bomb and the Phi-2 rocket, but there was another, far less known, a weapon so big it could strike London from deep inside occupied France without ever moving. This is the secret history of the V-3 cannon, Hitler's supergun that never fired on its intended target. The V-3 story begins with the Hochdruck pump, or high-pressure pump. This was no ordinary artillery piece. The design called for a barrel over 130 meters long, buried inside a hillside, and powered by multiple propellant charges placed along the barrel. As the projectile traveled forward, these charges would ignite in sequence, giving repeated boosts of acceleration. The goal was to hurl a 140-kilogram shell at over 1,500 meters per second, reaching London from 165 kilometers away. Conceived by engineer August Kunders and championed by Albert Speer, Hitler saw it as a weapon of terror, a continuous rain of shells on London. To house these cannons, the Germans began constructing the Fortress of Mimoyecques in northern France, a maze of underground tunnels, rail lines, and 5 massive inclined shafts, each designed to hold 5 V-3 barrels aimed directly at London. Built with forced labor and protected by thick concrete and chalk, the site was heavily camouflaged. If completed, it could have fired hundreds of shells a day into the British capital. But the Allies were watching, reconnaissance flights detected the construction, and in July 1944, the RAF attacked. Conventional bombs failed, but then came the Tallboy earthquake bomb, designed by Barnes-Wallis. On July 6, 1944, RAF Lancasters dropped Tallboys on Mimoyecques, collapsing tunnels and burying the guns. More raids followed, sealing the site's fate before a single shot could be fired at London. 2 smaller, shorter-barrel V-3s were later deployed in Luxembourg during the winter of 1944-45, shelling the city from 43 kilometers away. Their impact was negligible, and by then Germany was in full retreat. The V-3's moment had passed before it began. After the war, Allied teams examined the remains. The multi-charge firing concept was unique, but plagued by engineering problems and extreme vulnerability to bombing. The supergun idea would resurface decades later in Iraq's Project Babylon, but the V-3 remains the ultimate example of a weapon too grand to succeed. The V-3 cannon was meant to be a weapon of terror. In reality, it became a monument to the limits of Nazi engineering under relentless Allied attack. A reminder that not every terrifying weapon conceived in war makes it to the battlefield. Sometimes the most dangerous guns never fire at all. This has been Battlefield Archives. Subscribe for more true stories from the front lines of history.